Good evening. I would like to call the November 24th board meeting to order and ask that you join in a moment of silence. Thank you. And now would you please rise and join in the Pledge of Allegiance? Thank you. And now we will have Director Matlock read our mission statement.
The Waterloo Schools will set the standard for urban education for ensuring that every student is given the comprehensive support and diverse experiences needed to graduate with a diploma and a plan.
Thank you, Director Matlock. The next item on our agenda is information from individuals and delegations. This is the opportunity where those who wish to address the school board may do so. Please keep your comments to 3 minutes or less. I will hold up a yellow card when you have 30 seconds remaining and a red card when your time has expired. At that time, I will ask you to conclude your public remarks. Please also keep your comments respectful and constructive. We are all here with the goal of trying to help our students. Please also avoid criticizing job performance of specific employees of the district. Personnel matters are confidential and must be handled through the proper channels. Finally, we provide this as an opportunity for public comments, but it is generally not a back and forth conversation. We would try to help at times we'll try to help if we can with information before or after board meetings, but we must proceed with our agenda items. With that being said, I would like to invite anyone who wishes to address the board to step forward, make sure the green light is on, and start by stating your name and address.
My name is Jamie Oberhoy. I live at 5532 Summerlin Drive in Waterloo. As a WAA president, one of the most important honors of my job is to share the stories of our teachers with you. I get to bring their lives off the pages of the agenda and help show you them as humans. Today, I want to share with you the life of one of our Waterloo School staff members that was also a WEA member. They are listed under the personnel appointments as a resignation due to their recent passing. I will share their obituary to honor the life they gave to our teaching profession. If you knew Andy Payton, you knew a stoic, loyal presence with a big heart. You knew a man who could influence a locker room and classroom with his size, calm voice, and bigger heart. Andy married the love of his life, Abby Van Denneker, on June 22, 2013 in Waterloo. Together, they built a life filled with laughter and little dogs, Lola and Ruby, who rarely left his side. Andy began his career serving others, first at the North Iowa Juvenile Detention Center, and then as campus security at West High School, where his natural ability to connect with students led him to coaching the Wahawk football team. Coaching was never just a job for Andy, it was who he was. He had the gift of seeing potential in others before they saw it in themselves. While balancing his coaching duties, Andy earned his teaching degree in history from Upper Iowa University. He taught special education at West High School before heading to Ankeny Centennial to continue inspiring students and athletes. His journey later took him to New York, where he taught at Manhattan High School before ultimately returning home to West High to teach special education and serve as co-chair of the department. Outside of school, Andy loved working out, laughing over dinner with his in-laws at Cholitos, and finding the most over-the-top Christmas gifts that would have everyone rolling their eyes. He showed up for his family, especially his nieces and nephews, never missing a game, concert, or big moment. Andy passed away on Sunday, November 2nd, 2025, at the age of 39. He leaves behind a legacy of love, laughter, and leadership that will never fade. To know Andy was to know loyalty, passion, and humility, the kind of person who made you feel seen, valued, and loved. His impact will live on through every student he taught, every athlete he coached, and every person lucky enough to call him family or friend. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Oberhue. Is there anyone else that would like to address the board this evening? Going once? Seeing none others, we'll move on with our agenda items. The next item on our agenda is a school presentation from Hoover Middle School. I see we have Head Administrator Tom Harshkamp here. And we're excited to continue the tradition of spotlighting the outstanding work happening across our schools during the 2025-2026 school year. And this is a series that we've been doing with the schools, and we're looking forward to seeing what Hoover has in store.
All right. Oh, wow, that's loud. Tom Harskamp, head principal at Hoover. We're going to be doing our presentation on academic skills and the why. So a year ago, we had a challenge of budgets, right? And hey, you're going to lose an exploratory. That was brought to us mid-year. We navigated through that, and so got my wheels turning, and our team started talking about what are some opportunities as a challenge comes, like how can we make this a benefit for our kids, even though it's not a great situation. So in the process of doing that, reflecting on my time in Omaha Public Schools, students that weren't proficient, they didn't have all the choices for exploratories. They were given an opportunity, as I put it, to have some extra supports, whether it was through title funds for a title teacher or even math supports. And then they went to their other exploratory. So they got one but didn't get both. So in this case, we have to find a spot for all of our kids to go through 6 rotations. Decided to, hey, what's a way we can not just make another study hall, because I don't love it when a kid sits in a study hall for 40 minutes and just does maybe some work or plays games on their computer or just reads, which is great. But how can we make it structured? So started talking with my instructional coach here, Becky Wooden, and started looking at ways that how can we use our data to drive some decisions in our building and give kids a way to like up their game. So 70+% of our kids are proficient in math, reading, and science at Hoover, which is pretty awesome. But that means there's 30% that aren't, right? So how can we find them and reach their gaps and continue to grow as a staff? So it tells a story, right? Data drives decisions and it tells a story. So I'm going to let my instructional coach, who does an amazing job, does a bunch of the back scenes. Like, we were going to share all these cool spreadsheets with you, but we decided just to show you snapshots so you wouldn't be too bored. So.
Yeah. The data crunching can get a little overwhelming. So for ISAS data, obviously the ISAS data is one data source that we look at. And when we pull the ISAS data, this is just a snapshot of many different spreadsheets that I create for our teachers. I pull in the ISAS data that breaks it down by domain, and we look at the data and how students are doing, and we get the average percent of each of those domains, and we try to identify domains that are in need of support. In this specific situation that I have captured here, you're going to see 3 of them kind of tied with our lowest score. So text types and purposes, conventions of standard English, and then your vocabulary acquisition and usage were like a low point for this particular group of students. And so I provide this data. And then I also go into IXL, which is a platform that we're using pretty heavily at Hoover. And over the last couple of years, we have implemented IXL, and our building has done a phenomenal job of implementing and using that resource. But this year, we've taken it a step deeper, and we have gotten a lot more intentional with our use with IXL. And so with the IXL usage, we're able to go in and look at those, they call them strands on IXL. And I'll kind of show you that here. So we have lots of reports that we can run on IXL. One of them that we really like is the Flex Diagnostic Strand Analysis. So you'll see the 5 strands across the top, vocabulary and conventions were two areas that we noticed that were in need for this particular group of students. And so therefore the teachers are taught how to navigate to those strand areas, find skills that it'll group students for you. You'll notice group 1, group 2, 3, 4, and 5. If you had the whole document in front of you, you'd be able to see the kids who are identified and for what skills that they're needing support with. It helps the teacher hone in on things that they actually need. So then teachers like Miss Pruce over here, who's going to talk hopefully here in just a minute about her experience and academic skills. She's able to look at this data. She knows exactly from ISAS what domains they're struggling with because that was provided by me. She can come into her IXL platform, find something that connects and is able to intentionally teach things that students specifically need to move them forward in their learning. And so that's the kind of data analysis in a short sense of how we're kind of supporting the academic skills with our data collection. So Ms. Pruce, would you like to come up? We have 6 total teachers. We have 2 at each grade level that are teaching academic skills, 1 language arts, 1 math for each grade. Ms. Pruce is teaching a 6th grade academic skills for math. So I'm just going to let her talk a little bit about the experience.
I'm Joellen Pruce, 6th grade math at Hoover. These are 2 of my math friends. And so this is the data, the Flex diagnostic that I look at every evening or every morning and find where I can be intentional with these students and select the codes that are going to help them grow the most. And they know when they come into the room for that 40 minutes what they are to be working on. And I only have about maybe 11 or 12 students assigned to me for 6 weeks. Sometimes I'll do a group jam where we'll work together in a small group, and other times they're just working on their skills that I have assigned to them. And I'm just going around very intense with how I am in teaching them and helping them. And what's really cool, can I talk about the data? Yeah. Okay, so what's really cool is when they came in in October, that's when I got these 2 first. October 8th, I think, was their start. They were just kind of lax, hadn't made a lot of growth. And then they started October 8th. And from October 8th to like November 15th, they both, one made 100 points growth, which is huge. And the other one made like 160 points growth, which is huge. On average, 10 points growth is what we expect to see from a student in a month. And these 2 in 6 weeks made 100 points growth. And it's not like they just crashed, didn't do well on their diagnostic at the beginning of the year, but we're just very intentional on what they work on. We know that fractions is a 6th grade struggle. So boys, right? What do we do every day? Fractions. We did fractions because we know we're dividing fractions now in our current unit, and I wanted to get them up to division of fractions, so we brought everything up to that. So do we want to hear from them? Oh, okay.
Well, and I will also just say, like, this kind of shows the scoreboard that we kind of keep for Hoover, kind of monitor some of our data. And this shows those 6 teachers. They're not labeled by teacher, but 6th grade math, which is Miss Pruce right here, representing the academic skills side. But overall, IXL diagnostics up top, the average diagnostic score of a student sitting in 6th grade, their average monthly growth is like 26 points for the 6th grade math. But if you look down below on the second half, oh, there you go. And you will see that in our round 2, which are the 2 boys here are a part of that round 2 in 6th grade math, their average growth is 81 points. So it's quite a bit significantly higher than the average 6th grade math in general. When 15 points, I would say, would be about expected for a 6 weeks period of time. And they're at 81. So that's amazing. Average amount of skills, IXL recommends 2 skills per week for language arts and 2 skills per week in math, and they're averaging around 50 skills. Now keep this in mind, the 50 skills is being done in the academic skills classroom plus in their math classrooms and things like, and their MTSS class. So they have multiple opportunities to get on IXL throughout the day. So yeah, it's pretty amazing.
Yeah, we're really proud. So here we go, boys. You ready? Come on up. So this is, it's Dehan, right? All right. So you have anything you want to say? Well, they're a little bit nervous here. So they've never touched IXL before 6th grade. Okay. That's in the beginning of the school year. That right around 450, I think, is where he started. Not in academic skills, right here about that first data point past October, he gets in academic skills, and this is where we've gone.
Don't
We've
be
heard from-
nervous. Don't be nervous, boys. We just want to hear how you feel about being better at this than you were before. How does that feel?
Yeah, we'll help you break the ice a little bit. We love hearing, we love the adults, we love hearing the people that have helped you, but we love hearing from you a little bit more.
Well, and that's, he had me for conferences this fall, and he actually verbalized it really well about comparing his math growth to his ELA growth. His ELA growth isn't as high as his math. And then when we talked about it, I'm like, well, why is your math so much higher than your ELA? And then you said, what to me at conferences? You forgot. He said to me, he's like, I know that my math is higher. He's like, I have Miss Bruce for that academic skills class. You know that one class? And I'm like, yeah, I know that one class. And he's like, yeah, we really work hard on fractions, and I made a lot of growth. And you were commenting about how much growth you had made. So he directly attributed it in our conference to his parents about how much growth he's made in math and why that was such a big difference. So good job.
So let's do this. Let's do this real quick to break the ice a little bit. So just tell us what your name is and what you enjoy most about school.
My name is Dayon, and I love math, I guess.
See?
All right.
Hold on, we got one more.
My name is Jeremiah, and I like making new friends.
All right.
Here's Jeremiah's data, same thing. Like no real progress up, kind of steady, and then as soon as we got to just past October, jumped over over 100 points. Have an 8th grade student that has been with us. He didn't make it tonight, has been with us for 3 years. This is his 3rd year. And you can see that, when do you think he hit academic skills? The last month and a half, 6 weeks. His attendance has improved, engagement has improved. So anyway, let's give these guys a round of applause first. Anything else? No? All right. I owe them candy for coming, so just come find me tomorrow, boys, all right? Okay. Biggest thing is when we shifted with, and Miss Wooden kind of said it, is just instead of putting IXL in front of kids is where we were at 4 years ago when I started. Hey, let's get them a tool that they can use. Let's provide some PD. As we went through, we realized last summer sitting in our admin retreat, I'm like, didn't feel great just putting it in front of kids. Let's have a teacher component to this. So now the expectation is all of our staff are engaging with some of these group jams in other spaces, and we're targeting it in this academic skills. It's teacher-led, it's 6 weeks, we're math and ELA focused, and has been IXL is a huge tool for us to improve achievement. And anything else you want to say?
I would just say, our MTSS classes, not just the 6 academic skills classes, are all using this kind of data focus with ISAS data and the IXL strands, and pushing those pieces that have been, a struggle point for a lot of our students. And we are sincerely hoping we see the connection with our upcoming ISAS. We're going to be watching that really closely, looking at those domains to see if we made the kind of growth and improvement that we believe that we should have based on the data and how hard we've hit it this year. But I'm super proud of our teachers they've put a lot of time and effort into this, and it's not a passive piece being done to students. This is something that we are using as a teaching tool, and it has really worked out and been great for our kids. So thank you for purchasing it.
And Ms. Wooden is next level when it comes to preparing the data and running with that. Has been a huge asset as well. So any questions? We're pretty much done.
Could you explain, so, and I may have missed, this is an additional exploratory, or are you taking another class period than you
So
is this like a planning period of your own that you're using, or how,
So normally,
how does it break down?
Yep. So last year we had 6 rotations: PE, art, STEM, CTE. I'm gonna miss one. Leader and me, and then our I should know a different name than home ec, but that was kind of like a life services with Miss Hill. So in that case, when we lost one of those and Miss Hill transferred over to Central, we had a gap in our schedule that we needed to fill, and we could have filled it with a study hall. And they just go and sit in the cafeteria for 40 minutes. Well, then sometimes if they don't have a music, they would have 2 study halls back to back the way our schedule works. And I don't know if you know middle schoolers, but that's a disaster waiting to happen. I'm just kidding, but that was a joke.
No.
That's 80 minutes of their day having a study hall. They don't have that much work to do. So
I guess I just meant like teacher-wise, how that works.
Yep, and I'll get there. So in the point of that, so we started brainstorming like what's a way we can use this purposeful time as a rotation and target some of our higher need kids that maybe just need a little extra support. And the goal is to get all of our kids through this. I don't know if it's going to work because of our schedule. So we threw it out to math teachers, ELA teachers who would want to, instead of having a general skills, which is kind of a homework catch up, let's get our skills done, who would like to run an academic skills.
Okay, so they're just doing it at a time that you would normally
Have a skills class.
Yeah, that was just
Yep.
the piece. That
Yep. Oh, makes sense. Good question.
I guess I just want to point out, you mentioned the intentionality of having that teacher and student, the teacher leading. And I would think the correlation of some of those scores is due to the relationships that the teachers are able to gain through, being a very intentional action of trying to help, these 2 young men and other students get better in math. So I just want to applaud. I want to applaud you guys on the simple fact that you was very targeted, but you inserted the relationship aspect, which was a natural thing because of your intentionality.
I will just point out too, like our teachers that are doing this, I mean, it is an extra layer of something that we were asking them to do. Some of them were a little nervous about doing it, and others were jumping at it, and it's a little extra work, and they realize that. I mean, I know Ms. Pruce would say it's a little extra work, but I think she would also agree that it's very much worth it, and the data is showing it, so it makes the teachers feel really good about what they're doing. So some of we originally kind of went to them and said, we can give this to someone else, like we could trade off and kind of, we have many math teachers and many ELA teachers in our buildings. We can kind of share this load. And some of them are like, no, I've got a groove. I know what I'm doing. I'm seeing some great growth, and I think it makes them feel good to see that growth. And so, yeah, I mean, we're killing it.
So is there a PD or something that the teachers become familiar enough with IXL to target this particular kid to this particular lesson, or is it pretty intuitive?
No, it's honestly, IXL makes it simple that, for me, I've been in there and now I know how to log into it. It's pretty great. But we've actually, we purposely spent time with our whole staff because the expectation is that all of our staff are engaging in IXL during MTSS, and then provided layers of another level for our academic skills because they're focusing in certain areas. But that one visual of the strands, it tells them, hey, out of these 12 kids, put these in a group, they should be working on this thing. Put these students in a group, they should be working on this area. So it leaves a lot of the guesswork because they have all this data and we use IXL regularly. It updates often. So it's not a, well, now we've mastered this, well, I don't need to be in that group. It'll show us that you're not a part of that group anymore. You have your own thing to work on. So it's,
Is IXL used in regular classrooms?
yep,
Yes.
yep.
Yep. We use it for instructional purposes in the classroom. So whatever core content we're teaching, we use it as a support to teach the core, but we also use it to backfill potholes of learning that maybe got missed over the years or maybe just didn't get mastered over the time. And then we go back and fill those potholes.
One of the things we had been hoping when we got it, is that students would kind of do a little of that on their own too during skills time. Have you seen students using IXL by their own volition?
Yes, definitely. Yes.
The how much are you using it for celebration?
A lot. So she just did a bingo card across our whole building. If a class gets bingo, then they get some popcorn and snacks as a incentive. Our usage, we just won 4 of the 6 traveling trophies at the middle school for growth. We just recognized at our lunch, these 2 guys got to stand up with a trophy, and I had to take the trophy and hang it in the office, but they got to take the picture with the trophy. Kind of a big deal that Miss Ortman does for each building. So yeah, we're purposeful about it. We're very strategic about, hey, how do we want to recognize them? I stood in a glass case recognizing for kids that met their goal last year, which was pretty great. There's a whole story with that, but we don't have time. So
I know that I from a parent perspective, I saw a lot of my youngest kid did a lot of that over the summer, and that was prep more for ACT and stuff on that. But he saw his best growth though was from May to September, October test dates, when he had a summer just really to focus in on that. So really, if the kids still have, some of them have for Chromebooks during the summer, would be it's a tool to help grow them or help them from slipping your way. So
for sure.
We've seen a lot of that, and it's just it's good to see you use them. Taking data's great, but data's only good if you find a way to use it right. And having a tool is great, but if you don't apply the tool the right ways, it's just something there. And glad to see you putting both those together and showing some great growth and results here. So
what percent of the 30%, I think you said, that weren't proficient, are you able to get into these types of special attention?
So we're averaging about 12 to 15 in each academic skill. So every 6 weeks, we have a new group of, what would that be, 75 kids. So we should be able to get everybody. Now, if they're in 2 musics or have an IEP, or in ELL, we have some difficulties scheduling. But also knowing that they're using this IXL tool in other spaces too to fill some of those gaps. So, like she said, I feel there's going to be a correlation between this just because of the effort we're putting in and the engagement we're getting from kids. We'll wait and see how the data turns out.
And you're just talking about 6th grade now?
No, that's across Hoover. So we have about 75 to 80 kids in academic skills every 6 weeks. So technically, mathematically, we should get all 30%, but there's probably some that won't because of those factors that I mentioned.
I think you'll see it.
That's great. Thank you.
Yeah, I think you'll see it in ICEPs too. I mean, I saw my own kid. I saw he had a lot of growth because he did a lot of it. It's just getting the kids engaged in it, and the more they can use it, even on their own time, how we can synthesize them to, hey, you're home, you got a half hour, do it, So
at the SIAC committee meeting last week, we missed a couple of you guys, but very busy week, which is the School Improvement Advisory Committee meeting. We shared a lot of data last week on our academic improvement across the board. And one of the community members asked, so what do you attribute those improvements to? And I said, I got some ideas, but let me ask the staff who are here. So I threw that back to the staff. And the first response that came up from the staff was IXL. They felt like that. And I forget who the employee was, what building they were in. It could have been any number of buildings. But they swore that they felt like the thing they could point at for our academic growth year over year on ISASP was IXL.
And yeah, I mean, I would just say, you know, the program's amazing, but the people behind the program, the educators, are the ones that are really amazing because they're the ones that make or break it. I mean, it's pretty easy to sit down as a student in front of the program and just have them plug away at it independently. And if you only use it in that capacity, you're using it at its minimum level. And we're not, you know, we're really, you know, digging deep and using it as an instructional tool. So.
I would just add to the layer of the instructional coach. I had the opportunity to sit in on your meeting. I think it was just a week ago when you were talking about the traveling actual trophies that were going around. And I did just share with Jared, if you want to share with the board, just we have that example of IXL growth for each of the middle schools and what the trend has been. So if you want to share that with the rest of the board, but really proud of the collaborative effort, because I do believe, yes, the teachers in the classroom, shout out to Miss Bruce, who's very intentional about how she's going to respond to her students. Super proud of the two of you. Fantastic. Like, round of applause for you guys. That was awesome to see that growth. And then also just the leadership team, just thank you for just being intentional in the response, because it's more than the program, right? So thank you.
Yeah.
All right.
You can walk to your seat. I'll just say a little bit. Yeah, I won't hold you up there. But as always, we're appreciative of buildings coming and telling us the good things that are happening. But to bring young people with you and to show, one, what they're doing, but the growth, that means they started somewhere, and maybe not even thinking about how far they can go, but putting forth the effort and then having the support of their parents, and the support of the staff and the building. What's to say what the limit is, where they can go. So we're very appreciative. And tonight, we normally have 2 presentations from schools. So tonight, you guys are the star of the show. It's all about you. It's all about you. So we do applaud you. We congratulate you. Keep up the great work. Keep up the great work. That's building and parents and students. So we're proud of you. Thank you. You want to do it, Amy? Okay. We'll get a picture. We'll get a picture of the students and the staff. Yeah. So yeah, or in the back, either way. I see Ms. Nettie can thank you all again. And that was just for information only. The next item on our agenda is the annual meeting treasurer's report. It is the superintendent's recommendation that the Board of Education approve the treasurer's report for June 30th, 2025.
So moved.
Okay, so the annual meeting of the Board of Education shall be held each year after August 31st and prior to the organizational meeting, which we'll have later, meeting of the board in odd number years. At the annual meeting, the board shall examine the financial books and settle the secretary's and treasurer's statements for the fiscal year ending the preceding June 30th. And our own JT Anderson, CFO of the district, is here to give us a little bit more information on that. And I'll now turn it over to JT.
Yeah, I'm not planning to go over this extensively. If you remember at the September 22nd meeting, we went through the annual financial reports, including the treasurer's report in a lot of detail. I will just point out some of the big points, I guess, in the funds. The general fund balance ended the year in a negative position of about $6.2 million. The save fund increased substantially to over $75 million. And again, that's because of the bond sale we had in June. The internal service fund, which is our print services fund, also finished the year in a negative fund balance of just under $140,000. Tomorrow we have a finance committee meeting at 1:00 that board members and public are available to come to, where the auditor will go over this fiscal year 25 in more detail. They'll follow up with a report to the entire board at our next December meeting as well, but I can take any questions if there are specific ones.
What is internal service funds?
It's our print shop. So we have a location that provides printing services not only internally but also does some printing for some outside entities as well.
We haven't had a balanced budget in many years. When do you expect we might?
Yeah, we're this year, fiscal year 26, we're anticipating to be close to a break-even point. But that doesn't increase our fund balance. However, that just keeps it at a negative $6.2 million roughly. So that's why we have further reductions beyond this year. So we're hoping in fiscal year 27 that we'll start to see a fund balance of zero.
Yeah, so that's a positive move in the right direction to not keep digging deeper. So that's good news.
Is it odd that we're spending that much on print services? Just knowing that we're going so much more digital platform stuff and digital.
We're having conversations about our print services right now as we look at everything in regards to budget. So those are questions that we're talking about as a leadership team right now.
I mean, we went 1 for 1 on a lot of technology stuff, but we're still. It seems like that should be like declining quite a bit. You know, as far as that goes, for as you know what we have for paper copy stuff. I get it when I was 10 years ago, but it seemed like we should be kind of reversing direction there. So.
I'm just wondering, is that a normal expenditure? The 411, is that a pretty average yearly expenditure for us?
That is for us. I mean, there's a lot of that staff salaries and benefits.
Okay, so I want to ask that salaries are in that,
and those expenses will be reduced. Last year we had 3 full-time people in the print services. We did, as part of our budget reduction, reduce that to 2 people this year. So there will be a decrease in expenses. Will it be to the extent to cover that negative balance? Probably not, obviously. But again, the conversations, Jesse, your question is timely. We're having conversations about that right now.
Yeah.
So the enterprise fund has a substantial positive balance. As I understand it, that could be food service, childcare, community ed. Is it strictly food service?
Yes, ours is strictly food service.
And then to what extent can that be transferred?
What we're allowed to transfer is only allowed by federal and state law. It's our indirect cost allocation, which is set forth. It's about 11% that we can transfer, if you will. And again, the state and guidance and federal guidance kind of dictates that process of what is included in that indirect cost.
So how is it such that that continues to increase?
Well, especially during the COVID period, they increased the federal reimbursement rates, and obviously we don't charge for our kiddos. We qualify for all free and reduced. So the reimbursement rate outpaced the costs in that regard.
But the salaries of the food service are in here.
Correct. Yep.
Thank you.
Are there any more questions? And as JT said, there'll be more information to come to this later. So seeing no other questions, all those in favor of approving the superintendent's recommendation state aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Chair votes aye. Motion carried. Thanks, JT, for that. Don't go far. The next item on our agenda, item 8, is abstract of votes from the school election. I'll get the recommendation on there and then give some details about that as well. So it's the superintendent's recommendation that the Board of Education take official notice of the abstract of votes from the school election held November 4th, 2025.
So moved.
Second.
The Black Hawk County Board of Supervisors and County Board of Canvassers for Black Hawk County have certified a true and correct abstract of the votes cast in the county for the school election held on November 4th, 2025. In the absence of our board secretary, Mrs. Pam Arndorfer, I'll hand it over now to JT Anderson, our CFO, to walk us through this information and the next steps that follow.
Certainly. So the results of the vote, as Director Williams just mentioned, the election was held on November 4th, and the canvass of votes occurred and was certified on November 12th. So elected as the District 1 Director with 1,816 total votes was Astor Williams. Elected as the District 4 Director with 2,311 votes, Crystal Matlock. Ooh. Killed it. Elected as at-large director, Janelle Ewing, with 9,563 votes. So those are the official results. Any questions?
Congratulations.
With that, if there are no questions, we will need an official vote to accept that recommendation. So it's not roll. This one's not roll call. All those in favor say aye.
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 Any opposed? Motion carries. Moving on to item 9. This is the installation of the new directors. Each director elected at a regular district or director district election shall qualify by taking the oath of office on or before the time set for the organizational meeting of the board at the first regular meeting following the official canvass of votes for a regular school election, and the election and qualification entered of record by the secretary. So with that, we'd like to administer the oath of office for Director Ewing, Director Williams, and Director Matlock. So if you could just please stand. Do you solemnly swear that you will support the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of Iowa, and that you will faithfully and impartially, to the best of your ability, discharge the duties of the office of director in the Waterloo Community School District as now or hereafter required by law? Awesome. Congratulations.
Good thing that wasn't your right hand.
So the next item, 10, is the election of officers. At its annual meeting, the board undergoes its official reorganization. The first order of business is the election of officers for the coming year. The board secretary conducts this portion of the meeting until the president and vice president have been elected and sworn into office. Nominations and votes are made orally. Approval of a motion to close nomination is needed to conclude that portion of the process for each position and move to election. So with that being said, we'll start with the election of president. And so I will take any nominations for the role of president of the board at this time.
I nominate Astor Williams.
Are there any other nominations? If not, can I get a motion to close the nomination?
So, second.
Second.
All those in favor to close the nominations, say aye.
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 Any opposed? So we will now do a roll call vote for the vote for Director Williams as president. Director Cox,
Yay.
Director Ewing, Director Knight,
Yay.
Director Matlock,
Yay.
Director Mills, Director Schmidt,
Yay.
Director Williams.
Aye.
Director Williams has been elected president of the Board of Education by roll call vote of 7-0. Congratulations. We'll move on to nominations for the vice president, so I'll open it up if there are any nominations for vice president.
I nominate Lyle Schmidt.
Are there any other nominations? If not, I will take a motion to close.
Second.
All those in favor of closing the vice president nominations, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? We will now take a roll call vote for Director Lyle Schmidt as vice president. Director Williams,
Aye.
Director Cox,
Aye.
Director Ewing, Director Knight,
Aye.
Director Matlock,
Aye.
Director Mills, Director Schmidt.
Aye.
Director Lau Schmidt has been elected Vice President of the Board of Education by roll call vote of 7-0. Congratulations. If Director Williams and Director Schmidt would please stand up and we will administer the oath of office. Do you solemnly swear that you will support the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of Iowa, and that you will faithfully and impartially, to the best of your ability, discharge the duties of the office of President and Vice President of the Board of Education in the Waterloo Community School District as now or hereafter required by law? Congratulations. And I will pass the torch back to Director Williams.
Let me find my place. Thank you, JT, and stepping up in absence of our wonderful board secretary,
Yeah, good
Pam
job.
Arndorfer. So we
Good job.
appreciate you as well.
We know you can do dual duty.
Okay. So that brings us to item 11, reorganization of the board. The recommended motion is that the president of the Board of Education of the Waterloo Community School District, Astor Williams, be authorized to sign all warrants, contracts, and all other documents that require her signature, and the vice president of the Board of Education of the Waterloo Community School District, Lau Schmidt, be authorized to sign all warrants, contracts, and all other documents that require his signature in the absence of the president, and the signature plate of Astor Williams, immediate past president of the Board of Education, be authorized to continue as a valid check signature until a plate for the new president can be obtained, and the superintendent be authorized to invest school district monies prior to allocating these funds toward payment of expenditures accordance with board policy 704.03, and the Board of Education of the Waterloo Community School District approve the following financial institutions as the official depositories for district funds in accordance with Iowa Code Chapter 12C, with the maximum deposit limits as listed. Farmer State Bank, $80 million. UMB Bank, $25 million. Iowa School Joint Investment Trust, ISJIT, $10 million. And that the board authorize the board treasurer, chief financial officer, and designated signatures to manage these accounts consistent with board policy and state law. And the Board of Education reaffirms all policies and actions of preceding boards.
So moved.
Second.
Are there any questions on this? So all those in favor of approving the superintendent's recommendation, state aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Chair votes aye. Motion carried. Again, thank you, JT, for your help on that. I'm sure we'll have more to say as we go on in the evening. That brings us to the next item on our agenda, our consent agenda. Tonight's consent agenda consists of 7 items. Item 1, approval of minutes of the November 10th, 2025 special board meeting and November 10th, 2025 regular board meeting. Item 2, personnel appointments and adjustments. Item 3, bills due and payable and bills paid between board meetings. Item 4, West High JROTC travel to St. Paul, Minnesota. Item 5, the 28E agreement between Cedar Falls Community School District and Waterloo Career Center, WCC. Item 6, appointment of board member to the Black Hawk County Conference Board. And item 7, agreement with Timberline Billing Services, LLC. Are there any items that board members want to see removed?
Items 4, 6, and 7.
Items 4, 6, and 7. Six, 7. I think that covers the ones I wanted to pull as well. Are there any others? Okay. Can I then get a motion to put items 1, 2, 3, 5, yep, on the table?
So moved. Second.
All those in favor of approving items 1, 3, and 5, state aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Chair votes aye. Motion carried.
Wait, was it 1, 2, 3, and 5?
Yeah, what did I say?
I think you just said 1, 3, and 5. So I'll
Excuse me. So we can amend that. So all those in favor of approving items 1, 2, 3, and 5, state aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Chair votes aye. Motion carried.
To 4.
That brings us to item 4. It is the superintendent's recommendation that the Board of Education approve travel for West High's JROTC team to travel to St. Paul, Minnesota from December 5th through the 6th, 2025 to participate in a drill meet.
So moved.
Second.
I believe we have the West High Air Force JROTC team here to answer any questions. Are there any questions? Yeah. I think Lyle pulled this.
Yeah, this has historically been a great trip, and I think your teams have done very well. But can you explain, is this all just one group drill, or how does that work?
It is several different drill cards. So it's one team. There's about 19 cadets, I think, that we're looking at taking. Probably one of our largest teams. This has actually been a good year for, got a few more cadets on the team. Last year we were very small. Also competed well, but that means everybody's in on everything. But we actually were invited to this competition. In the past, I think we went to Ozark. We also went to Lee's Summit. We were thinking about Lee's Summit, but we wanted to see how our Des Moines competition went because it's the earliest we've ever competed. And we got 3rd overall with our fitness team. Our female fitness team got 3rd place overall. And then our first year cadets, that's the part we were most proud of, is because we really didn't have a first year team for the last couple of years, but we've got enough kids this year that came out and their first year in drill. And so they've actually really worked hard. And Caesar Czar is our cadet that really stepped up, and he got lots of compliments, did well, and we got 1st place for our first year cadet. So we were pretty happy. So this is a competition. We're going to see some of the same teams, but we're also going to see some different teams. And like I said, we were invited by the Sergeant Major up there at the Marine Corps GRTC at Como Park. And so the kids are excited about going and competing.
So what's the fitness team drill look like?
Well, Como Park doesn't have a fitness challenge, but Des Moines Central, the Marine Corps unit down there, we come in on a Friday and basically do push-ups, sit-ups, a shuttle run, a tire flip, and pull-ups. And so there's 5 males, 5 females, and our Wahawk ladies, 5 females, were able to be the top of the top 5 team. There are 5 female teams altogether. They got 3rd place.
So is there individual and team scoring?
Yes. Well, no, there's no individual. All of their push-ups,
Okay.
everything, and then there's like a plank to get max points. I think they got a plank for like 3 minutes and something. And one of our girls went to almost 3 minutes planking. So that was, but it's all about each minute is more points. So it's a cumulative score of all their points going in together for the fitness challenge.
So is there all marching competition?
Yeah, so there's basically they march with an armed card. There's about 47 commands that our kids have to learn in order, and then of course the kids are following it in order at the right time. Different rifle movements, things like that. And then there's an unarmed card where they just march around in a regular formation. There's a first year team, and then there's also two. In this competition, there's actually 3 color guards. At Des Moines, there was just 1. So we have our 5 cadets that are marching, performing about 20 commands as they move around the drill floor. And we did well in all of those. That's why we got 3rd place overall. But the only trophies we brought were the 1st place trophy and then the 3rd place trophy. So that means our points were maybe just under that watermark, to place. But cumulative points got us into 3rd place overall.
So how do you select your team leaders or squad leaders or whatever?
Mostly it's them deciding to step up and try, right? I mean, there's some of the cadets have more experience. And so each year, as the more experienced cadets graduate, they're looking back saying, hey, next year you need to step up to the challenge. And every year there's always been those cadets who sort of get identified by their peers and challenge them to step up and be a commander for a card. And so like Caesar, though, he actually joined mid-year, so he will only be able to be the commander at this competition as a first year. And we've already have another cadet. She hasn't said yes yet, I guess, but so but she's real sharp. She actually was in a knockout drill, and she just kept doing the movements, and then one of the judges was looking at her, and she just smiled a little bit, and of course she broke her bearing, so that got her knocked out. But she did really well, and so we think she'll step up and be the commander for our January competition at Council Bluffs. So
it's kind of like being a drum major.
I suppose. Yeah.
It is, yeah. Both of those activities come from actually the marching band activity and the color guard, the flags. That all came from this. That was the color guards. They added a few bugles. It started from all the same things if you don't mind, in the 1920s after World War I. The military groups were disbanding and they had to sell all this equipment that they had. So they sold it to CYOs, Christian youth organizations, and schools and police departments. And they started trying to get kids to understand how to be disciplined. So they started putting together these troops of kids that did this color guard thing and this bugle thing. And so both, the marching band activity kind of went more artistic with dance and stuff. But I mean, when they're talking about the drill downs and having to do the same motions over and over and having to call this stuff off a card, we still teach a lot of marching band kids a lot of that same stuff. Mm-hmm. And it's all the same concentration, all the same focus, all the same stuff, and all good for kids.
Yeah, it's great leadership training. So thank you for taking the time to.
Yeah. They do all the work. We're just there to kind of hone the edges, if you will.
Yeah, but you're there.
How many kids are in the program overall this year?
What's that?
How many students do you have all together?
We have 76 cadets this year. We had 55 last year, so we had a nice boost. We actually started with 79, but we had a few that their attendance hasn't been great. So,
do you go back after them though?
Well, they're not. I don't know. Yeah, they stopped coming. It's admin is.
You didn't mean
it.
You didn't mean attendance to your stuff. You meant attendance. Period.
Yeah.
Okay.
If we would have had them, definitely we would have been. Keeping them engaged. But
all right, any more questions?
What do you think the boost in growth was from? Have you done anything different as far as recruiting, or have you seen your cadets recruit differently?
Well, I think the cadets play a large role. We've talked many times with them. They're the best. They're the best recruiters.
Right.
We always encourage them. We're actually. Thanks to have Sergeant Borman here. I've been solo this last 2 years, and that makes it more difficult to sort of juggle all the balls and maybe do some of the things that help the numbers. So the cadets, but like I said, around school, I engage with as many kids as possible. Why aren't you in JFGC? And they usually I don't know. I've thought about it. So, but it's really the cadets, I think, talking to their friends. I would say probably some of them are just interested. They had a grandparent or something like that. They joined because of that reason. But I would say a third of our cadets that are in our Corps this year, they have been friends with a cadet and maybe just didn't last year or the year before, but this year they decided to join and be a part of it because their friends were a part of it. And some of them graduated and moved on. But yeah.
Being able to take them to stuff like this is definitely an attraction as well, where they feel like they're getting to do something experiential. So,
I think so.
so good luck. Excited.
Yep. Thank you.
Any
for all your-
opportunities to see any videos from St. Paul's? Maybe, or some pictures or something?
Yeah. He was the videographer.
Okay.
We put him on our Google Classroom. I'm trying to think how I share that best. So I'm not the best tech guy. So
Well, we'd love to see it when you return, if you figured that out.
yeah, we can share. I share it with one person. Maybe they could show the
Yep.
board or
That'll work.
Yeah.
That'll work.
okay.
Thank you.
Yep.
Just make sure you get it. Make sure you get it to Pam
Get it to what?
Arndorfer.
Okay, I will.
Okay. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Chief.
We have to vote on this?
Yep.
Oh, okay. I was like, all that.
So all those in favor of approving the superintendent's recommendation state aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Chair votes aye. Motion carried. Have fun. Good luck at the competition. The next item on our agenda is appointment of board member to the Black Hawk County Conference Board. It is the superintendent's recommendation that the Board of Education approve the appointment of Stacy Mills to the Black Hawk County Conference Board.
So moved.
Second.
I think Lyle pulled this.
Yeah.
Pretty self-explanatory. I can start off though.
So what's the activity? What's going on with the conference board these days?
Well, we don't meet really again
Yeah.
until coming up in the next month, or well into January. I'll have a lot more to report at that time. There really hasn't been much communication going on since then. I mean, the obvious one is the one that we hear of. It's like houses are having to get assessed at the level that meets appraisal. And so that's why taxes are the way they are too. So I'll bring in the next meeting I have, I'll bring in a detailed report. Also, there can only be one voting board member, but we can definitely have other board members. So if anyone would like to come and see what it's about and listen, it's very interesting. There's representatives from everybody who receives taxes. So all the mayors, all the school boards from the county, anyone who receives a portion. It's very interesting and it helps put it all into perspective. So that was a lot more than I think you asked for.
Is TJ still there?
Yeah. Yep.
I thought he was real good.
He
When
is.
I was on the board, it was aerial surveys
Yes.
and then the role of the schools in they actually had a feature of the aerial surveys that would come through the schools and videotape. So the police had it's old technology now, I'm sure, but the police and fire and everybody could familiarize themselves with each building if they wanted.
The inside too.
Yeah,
I should find out where that's digitized at now.
yeah, I don't know where that's at.
But we do have, and I don't know if it's been shared with everybody, but you probably have it. We have access to their really high quality aerial maps that they've done of everything. So we can access that anytime we want. So
Well, before we vote, definitely want to thank you for your past service
Yeah.
on that board. I know serving on multiple boards can be a lot, and then your willingness to continue to serve as well. So it doesn't go unnoticed. We definitely appreciate your service to that board and representing.
it is
the board of
it is a
directors.
fun one, like getting to meet the mayors of other places.
Yeah.
So yeah, but it's interesting.
It sounds like it's a lot of knowledge in there too. So we appreciate you. Any more questions? All those in favor of approving the superintendent's recommendation state aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Chair votes aye. Motion carried. Thank you again, Stacy, or Director Mills, for serving on that board. That brings us to the next item on our agenda. Consent item number 7, agreement with Timberline Billing Service LLC. It is the superintendent's recommendation that the Board of Education approve the agreement with Timberline Billing Services LLC as presented and authorize the board president to sign the consent form.
Second.
I think Lyle pulled that one as well.
Yeah. I'm not sure what role they play, but I know historically, claiming Medicare that we could claim was always a struggle. We seem to always leave a lot on the table, and I'm just wondering, some on the table, because it's kind of difficult to keep track of all those that qualify and somehow get that money to the schools, right? So, do you know why, what's the performance of the past people, and do you have any reason to believe these are going to be any different?
What I can tell you is that Timberline obviously has been our third-party Medicaid provider since 2021, maybe even before that, but that's the most recent contract. They have sold off their business to this Relay company out of Delaware recently. But Timberline's platform has been helpful. I'm speaking from Angela Montgomery. She's kind of our guru, Medicaid guru. She's been really happy with that platform and what her concern is that Relay has a different platform going forward. But for this continuation of this year, we're able to stay on the old Timberline in order to process our claims, and it amounts to about $1.5 million to $2 million a year for us. So it's certainly worth claiming Medicaid, and there is probably opportunity to find more, and that's what Angela and Megan, that their department is tasked to do. But at the end of this year, we'll reevaluate going forward if Relay is going to continue to be the company that we use or someone different.
So what records do they need from us?
Yeah, so their platform is such that my understanding is that it's electronically, so that whoever's servicing the students that qualify for Medicaid, it's easily uploadable to the platform, so they can do it with iPads and whatnot, and that it meets the criteria, the compliance requirements for the Medicaid documentation. The Relay company has a little bit different process. That's where we're kind of a little bit iffy on if that's going to be conducive for what we need, and we will likely research some other companies further.
So is there judgment? It seems that, just simplistically thinking about it, this is one of those areas that technology should automatically calculate everything.
But you're also dealing with the federal government. So there's a lot of compliance issues that have to be met. And so that
So do we spend time with the compliance issues, or does this
that's why we like the Timberline platform, because we're not having to spend as much time with that because of the available for the electronic piece of it.
I would just add in there, JT, just from Angela Montgomery, as you referenced, she does, as a former building principal, she will send you the reports to ensure, for instance, our parents who are supporting our students with IEPs, ensuring that the data is uploaded into the program to ensure that we are getting that reimbursement. I mean, I'm looking at a former document that I have by student, what supports, behavior, academic, etc., whether it's been tallied, by who and when. So all of that is uploaded into the platform, which then it comes back your way to ensure we get the reimbursement. But so we don't miss out on those funds, which are essential, it is a very detailed report utilizing that platform. So I just wanted to add that component.
Yeah, so we can spend more time, making sure that we're capturing all of the Medicaid eligible claims rather than, having to spend time hounding our staff to make sure that they're tracking their time appropriately.
So I know it's impossible to know how much we're missing, but is there any significant amount you think that we're missing?
That's a better question for Angela. She might have a good guesstimate for you, Lyle. I don't have that.
All right. So hopefully this company, and then you say next year, I mean, I don't know. I didn't read in here how much we're paying them, but Maybe it doesn't say.
The current contract we have with Timberline, we pay 5% on net claims,
Okay.
on the net claim amount,
But,
which
obviously
is,
the value is the coverage.
yep. And Relay, that their company is making a strong push to get more business in Iowa, obviously with the acquisition of Timberline, but they've also done some other things to try to capture more market share here in Iowa. So
Does that include going lower than 5%?
actually, the 5% that we negotiated is significantly lower than most.
Is it?
Yeah.
Thank you.
All right. Any more questions? Comments? Excuse me. So all those in favor of approving the superintendent's recommendation state aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Chair votes aye. Motion carried. Thanks, JT, for that explanation as well on that, and Amy. That ends our consent agenda items. The next item on our agenda, item 13, board policy changes, second reading. It is the superintendent's recommendation that the Board of Education approve the following policies. Let me get the numbers. Number 103.0, long range needs assessment. Number 106.0, Title IX, discrimination and harassment based on sex prohibited. Item number 303.01, administrative positions. 401.01, equal employment opportunity. 407.02, licensed employee contract release. 40706, licensed personnel early separation. 505.08, parent and family engagement district-wide policy. 506.01, education records access. 506.02, student directory information. 507.05, emergency plans and drills. 604.04, program for at-risk students. 604.12, Waterloo Community School District twice exceptional 2E programming. Item 800.01, building plaques. 800.02, school facility names. 820.01, staff use of district laptop computers and mobile devices. 900.0, principles and objectives for community relations. 902.02, news conferences and interviews. 902.03, news releases. 904.02, advertising and promotion. 906.0, unnamed aircrafts, drones. And 920.0, no cost passes to district sponsored activities and events. Can we get a motion to put those on the table?
Second.
Okay, and this is the second reading. I know we talked about a few of these at last board meeting in the absence of our board secretary, Pam Marendorfer. I know we have a couple of board members who serve on the policy review committee. So if there are any questions, we'll try to answer them as best as possible.
She made one update on the 920.02, so she got one update in there, so that's good.
Yeah, I thought it was another one that she updated as well. Just the wording.
Yeah.
So are there any questions about the second reading on these board policies? Okay. Seeing none, all those in favor of approving the superintendent's recommendation state aye.
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 Any opposed? Chair votes aye. Motion carried. That ends our action items this evening. And now on to Dr. Jared Smith and the superintendent's report.
Okay, I've got three things here. First of all, thanks, Jamie, for your message there. Very well done. We definitely lost a valued member of our community here, and I wasn't able to attend the services, but I've heard that went really well. That Josh did a really good job. I heard specifically in terms of commemorating his brother there. So, in that same theme, we mentioned Pam a couple times. Pam lost her mother last week, and I think we notice when Pam is gone, it leaves a big void with us scrambling to know what we're supposed to do here and her training us up. But I had a chance to go to the visitation. A lot of people. Pam's got a huge family. Lots of brothers, sisters, grandkids, great grandkids, and so forth. So I know a few of the board members are going tomorrow to the funeral, which is out there in Dyke. So just wanted to say condolences to her and her family. One thing I wanted to bring up as we're talking about finding ways to save money as little as minute as it might be, just being creative, outside the box ideas. One thing the board may or may probably doesn't know that I haven't shared with you over the last few weeks is our title funding is directly correlated to our free and reduced numbers. And as we were looking at our free and reduced numbers, we just had a gut feeling like we weren't capturing all of the accurate information for our kids. So it's self-reported during registration. So when the kids register, which most do online, but some do by paper, some don't really do it. It is up to the parent to accurately identify free and reduced. And for whatever reason, our gut was telling us that maybe some are not reporting accurately, or they're not. There's all kinds of reasons for that, whether they feel embarrassed, whether they just don't read it correctly, language barrier. So we met about a month ago, JT and myself, and we met with like 6 people from registration, Sheena's whole department basically. And we said, let's just, here's a little hunch we've got, let's make some calls. And so over the last month, her department has led the calling of hundreds of parents, maybe not hundreds, but a couple hundred parents, because we didn't have information. My last conversation with Sheena was that we caught maybe 130 plus more kids that are not that had not identified themselves as free and reduced lunches. So I don't know if I said this at the beginning of my speech, but for the rule of thumb for title funding is each free and reduced student, you get an extra $1,000 roughly. So you find 130 kids times $1,000. That's $130,000 in title funding that we believe we have found that had not been found in the past or for whatever reason. So that little hunch that we had, I think, and again, we'll see what happens. You know, maybe we're not quite understanding everything, but we think we found a good chunk of money just by following up with parents. Hey, we're not out to get you. We're simply trying to get accurate information to make sure our title funding, which again, I think we're about 75% free and reduced. We just thought, man, especially at the secondary level, some numbers were not adding up, where we would see middle school was, 76%, and then high school was like 68%. So what's going on here? So long story short is I think we found a little bit of a really big win that Sheena and her team. We'll see. We'll see when the numbers come through. We'll see when we got a follow-up meeting. But I just want the board to know that we are like turning over every rock to see what is out there for additional funding. And so I just wanted to share that with you as we're talking about some cost savings ideas. Last but not least, with Thanksgiving coming up this week, I want to say thanks to the board for all the extra hours that you guys have put in. Sounds like you had a really successful or productive visit to Des Moines last week and came back. Astor called me on Friday, shared with me a couple ideas that he picked up in his session. So I'm excited to hear some of the feedback from you, whether through one-on-one meetings or through some of our meetings and so forth. So just wanted to say thank you for all that you do, and congratulations to the 3 of you for getting voted back on the school board.
Thank you, Dr. Smith. Tonight with board comments, we'll start with Director Ewing.
Thank you very much to the other board members who sent me a wonderful card and a couple of gift certificates that helped me get through being one-armed for a while. I have bad shoulders in the way that some people apparently have bad knees or bad ankles, and so there will be further surgeries probably in the future, unfortunately. Congratulations to the 10 All-State music members that got to participate in a weekend clinic with it's like 600 choir kids, 300 band kids, 300 orchestra kids that get together and spend 2 days learning a repertoire of college type pieces just in 2 days, and then perform in a concert that sounds just absolutely amazing. It's going to be broadcast on PBS on the evening of December 8th. So if you want to see any of our kiddos that made it into those groups, please get into PBS on the night of the 8th. Thank you, everybody.
And where was that located, Director Ewing?
It's Ames,
Thanks. Okay.
more basically.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Director Ewing. Director Knight.
Yeah, not a whole lot this evening. Thanks, JD, for the report and updates on a couple of those items there. And congratulations to my fellow board members on re-election, but more importantly, your willingness to run and serve our community. And then just wishing our community, our families, a nice Thanksgiving. Enjoy the extra few days off, and hopefully everybody gets back safe and sound for class on Monday.
Okay. Thank you, Director Knight. Director Matlock.
Thank you. Congratulations to fellow board members. Congratulations to our president and vice president. Repeat there. With that, we appreciate that. Looking forward to working with all of you. Had a great time at the IASB conference, went through School Finance 101 again, and it was definitely a little easier to understand this time. I wasn't sitting there with a deer in headlights. Enjoyed the UEN dinner, the morning session, Leading with Purpose. Then a couple other sessions I went to, understanding the board's role in personnel and HR issues, school board transparency. Our lunch speaker talked about the moment of impact, had me in tears during that one. And then the last session I went to was mobilizing community partnerships to empower student success. So there's definitely some follow-up that I would like to do. So I'll be sending some emails out and things like that. There's some questions I have about just, like with board transparency and us working together as a board with our superintendent, building and working on those relationships. So I'm looking forward to doing some of that. Thank you to Hoover Middle School and the 2 kiddos that came in tonight. That's really exciting to see growth. You could see the smiles on their faces and their parents as they were sitting there. So congratulations and keep doing great work. And Dr. Smith, I want to tell you to keep asking the tough questions. Asking questions is the first way to begin change. So I appreciate it. I'm not on Facebook a lot, but I did see the comment on Facebook, and I appreciate you asking those tough questions, because that's where you lead to change and start changing minds. And my heart continues to go out to the bereaved families. Holidays can be very tough. And so I'm asking you to, my heart is with you. I've been there, done that. Those first holidays can be really, really rough on you, but just keep remembering those fond memories of your family members, and have a happy Thanksgiving.
Thank you, Director Matlock. Director Mills.
Like Crystal, I had a great time at the conference. We end up at a lot of the same ones, and which was really good, I think, for both of us to kind of hear it and then play together. What did you hear? This is what I heard. I think it will be good to bring some of those ideas back to see what the rest of the board thinks. The one that I went to that really spoke to me was the community conversations done in Muscatine. I know that it is a very vulnerable place to put ourselves in, and it's also time consuming. So it's something that I would like to bring up with the rest of the board when the time is appropriate. We can look at that. Otherwise, happy Thanksgiving to all. Everyone who is having a hard Thanksgiving for whatever reason, you're in our thoughts.
Thank you, Director Mills. Director Cox.
Definitely for all the bereavements that we've had, condolences go out. I think we've been through district-wide. It's been a blow. And this is also a time where we as a board we as a district have to circle around and just give everyone a hug. So, because hugs do wonders. So I just want to just mention that. The other thing I would like to mention is when Hoover talked about the IXL, I can remember a couple years ago, IXL was mainly being just thrown on the kids, and it depended upon each kid to do what they needed to do. I'm here to tell you what I heard tonight about IXL with intentionality, and I do not want to downplay relationships. The relationships we have with these kids is probably one of the biggest encouragements for our kids to learn. And I think seeing the example of those young men that came in and their scores went up, I would think other things went up in their lives too. And a lot of times, as it was mentioned, these are things that was extra to the teachers. This was extra. Their heart's in it. I just, my heart for this district, my heart goes out to these teachers because it's getting harder and harder each year. But you know what? They're sticking in there. And I just want to just give them, as we're entering Thanksgiving, a big thank you. I really don't want to downplay this story. Also, I think, Jared, I mentioned about, let's get the stories out. And if there's probably one thing that I've learned there at the conference, we got to push a little bit more about our narrative, our story. What's good is in this district, and we need to become a little bit more intentional. Because tonight I heard a story that not only would inspire teachers, it would also inspire parents. As I'm sitting here watching one of the parents, seeing their son up there, I seen tears of joy. Those tears of joy made me feel this is worth it. Each of the members that got elected, it's worth it. And so I just want to keep that in perspective of we got a lot of stories to tell, and I'm going to keep pressing. We got to tell this narrative. We got to tell our story, our narrative, because I think that, there were some districts out there, man, they had a pretty good system going out telling their story. Yes, we're going through some times, but you know what? Telling the story was good about our teachers, the scores which went out, but more importantly, the relationship stories. We need relationship stories out here because that's what our teachers, our administrators, each and every one of us are doing. So I'm throwing that urge out there. It's a challenge. Last challenge is, which I'm not going to let off the hook, our parents. As a board member, as we're pressing to become more efficient district, I'm also going to say it will not happen if we do not get more parent involvement. We need parent involvement. So I'm challenging parents that, you know, pick up the phone, call a teacher, see how your son or daughter's doing. Let's don't be reactive, being on a reactive mode of they're in trouble. You know, I thought that was great. What was it? Bunger with, they had the positive referrals. Oh, there goes another story. I'm telling you, our public needs to know what good is in this district, because we got to bring a purpose back to education. So that's what was inspiring to me at the conference. So that's what I would just like to say, and happy Thanksgiving, everyone.
Thank you, Director Cox. Director Schmidt.
Yes, thank you, Master Janelle and Crystal, for signing up for another 4 years. And thank you for supporting me as vice president for another year. ISB meeting was good as it normally is. They usually have very good keynote and noon speakers. I attended finance course, 301. It was yeah. It was very interesting, pretty eye. By the way, there were a number of people whined about districts like Waterloo getting disproportionate share of free and reduced lunch, but that was money. But I didn't pay too much attention to that. They went through their budgeting process, 3 different districts, and it didn't assuage my apprehension about looking at our budget for the next 3 years. That's for sure. It's nice to know that we're looking like we're going to have a balanced budget this next year, but really starting out the following year, 6 million in debt or whatever it is going to be really challenging because of the reduced impact on reduced enrollment. So I don't know what we do about it right now. I would encourage no hiring until it's absolutely necessary, because it doesn't make any sense to hire someone and then lay them off in 2 years. So we need these numbers. I understand they're coming, but we need to do a lot of planning for the next, especially through, in our case, an extra year than normal because of the 28-29 school year. So we really need 26-27, 27-28, and 28-29 because of the big changes between 27-28 and 28-29 in our cases. So we just need to not assume too much, get some numbers down on paper, and in the meantime, just be as frugal as we possibly can. And happy and safe Thanksgiving to everybody.
Thank you, Director Schmidt. Whew. I do have a few things. First off, to my fellow board members, whether you were just recently reelected or if you've served on the board for many, many moons, thank you. Thank you, one, for your service to your community. And then I want to thank you personally for trusting in me to lead this great, intelligent, wonderful group of individuals. And I'll talk a little bit about the IASB conference in a second, but I truly believe, and when I was a new board member, as Director Matlock always say, it was a deer in headlights. I didn't know what to expect. I didn't know what to say. I didn't know how to communicate. I didn't know how to listen. But as you sit in one of these seats, you get a little bit more comfortable. And that's when the real work starts to happen. So just understanding that it's a lot that goes in to serving on any board, but especially a public board such as this. And sometimes I just seem to, and I believe that that's all of us, we just seem to do the work. And I think we do that because we care. We don't do it for fame. We don't do it for personal reasons. I think we do it because we genuinely care. And I'm a firm believer that we have and have had over the years one of the most intelligent, strongest, most diverse boards in the state of Iowa. And every time I go to the IASB convention, that's reiterated. I pay attention to my surroundings. I pay attention to what other districts talk about and how they do things. So I'm appreciative of each one of you and what you bring individually to this board. We may not always agree, but we're respectful of each other. We listen, and everybody's input matters. And I think everybody has their own way of getting to a point to where the students, it's about the students. So again, I want to thank you each individually, one for serving, and then two for trusting in me to lead this wonderful group. So I had to get that out. So, thank you to the Hoover family. It was your show this evening. You were by yourself. You didn't have to share the platform with anyone. And then you brought two students that, just hearing the growth. 2% growth is great. 10% growth is great. We're talking 100% growth. That's amazing. That's unheard of. 6th graders, not 8th graders that have been in that building for a while, and have learned the ropes and how to maneuver. We're talking about those students that's fresh out of elementary school and in that building, and have found whatever it is. They're either found their person or found something that makes them want to do great things. So kudos to that team, Tom Hirschkamp and his team over at Hoover, and all the support staff and those parents that showed up with their students as well. Director Cox said something that I needed to hear. And part of it is what Dr. Smith mentioned when I called him on Friday, when I was on the highway leaving the convention, or Thursday. No, I called you Friday. Yeah, I called you Friday. I came back Thursday night, but I called you Friday, and you said it's worth it. It's worth it. And starting my 3rd term, sometimes, and I hate to be long-winded today because I'm ready to go too, but I think I need to say this because it's on my heart. Sometimes you can get weary in well-doing, and you just go through the motions. The IASB convention most of the time reinvigorates me. It gives me that boost. Just hearing from different districts and different superintendents, and see what others are looking to us for guidance, or what we're doing, or things that we can learn from someone else. And I think this third time is going to be a little different. I know for myself. I'm going to be a little bit more intentional on how I approach serving my community. People ask me, why are you running again? It took me a while to come up with an answer. I was nudged a few times, and that meant a lot. That helped me make a decision. Hopefully I made the right decision. And I tell people in a short that where we have the potential of going with reconfiguring our K through 12 education and the building of this new school is why I'm here, why I agreed to run for a third term. Because I think it's important. We talk about 100-year schools, and this is monumental. This is monumental. But it's not going to be done with just the people that you see on this dais. It's not. Matter of fact, believe it or not, we're secondary. And I'm okay with that. It's up to the people out there. It's up to the community. It's up to the families. It's up to the churches. It's up to the businesses. It's up to the people that will support these efforts and pour into our young people. Let's give them what they need. Let's give them what they deserve. And I think if we do that on a grand scale, once we're not behind this dais and someone else is sitting here, we can say we did our job. We can say that we helped in the ways we needed to help for our community. So it's worth it. And I have to keep reminding myself that it's worth it. It's worth it. It's worth it. And that's what I believe. Okay. Continued condolences to those bereaved families. We know them. And then the ones that we don't know, our sincere condolences to them as well. But they're our family. They're my family. They are, and I let them know that when I talk to them. Everybody in this area is my cousin, at least. I'm serious, and that means a lot. Because if you care for me, I care for you. With the Thanksgiving holiday approaching, just care for one another, love on one another. Be a helping hand to that. The other thing that I'll leave you with is one of the sessions that I was able to attend, and I'm working on either doing a work session or some type of virtual. Shout out to the Iowa City Community School District and President Ruthina Malone, who is now on the IASB board as well. They did a session. It's like 240 something individuals that attended their session. And the session was how they tell their story. How are they getting information to everyone? All the stakeholders, from the smallest, to the ones that aren't in their community. The ones that have gone and left, and so how are we telling our story? And we have an amazing story. We already have an amazing story. We're building on the story that we already have. So that's going to be important, and especially with the buy-in that we need and want in this community. So I think that is all I have. I got my notes scribbled, but I'm excited about the future. So I'll end with that. I'm excited about the future. And again, thank you for entrusting in me for one more year to lead this great group of people. I think that's it. All right. Hopefully I didn't talk you guys' ear off. I just had to get that out. So with that being said, does anybody have anything else? The buildings will be closed on Wednesday, Thursday, Friday this week for the Thanksgiving holiday. Our next board meeting will be in this room at 5 p.m. on December 8th. Anything from any other board members? All right. With that being said, can I get a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Chair votes aye. Motion carried. We're adjourned.